Zack Sabre Jr. did not win the G1 like Jeff predicted, and we were both hoping would happen. Unfortunately,
I
he did it.
recanted. I recanted.
He did end up with 12 points. He ended up 6-3, but even though he had the tiebreakers over the top other four guys in the bracket in the B block, he still could. I'm sorry, the A block, he still could not end up winning the G1. Zack Sabre Jr., of course, was brought into the promotion in a feud against Katsuyori Shibata over the Rev Pro Wrestling British Heavyweight Championship. And he's been there ever since the beginning of 2016, when those guys were fighting over that title. Also, beginning of 2016, Katsuyori Shibata and Tomohiro Ishii had a fantastic match at Wrestle Kingdom 10 that Jeff and I feel was the best match of 2016. And almost instantly made Shibata one of our favorite wrestlers. And as that year kept going on, and he kept on a roll, he became our favorite wrestler. Blending his striking style with his superb blend of technical wrestling, he was the never openweight division to us. And then 2017 started, and he started being even more on a rise, where it looked like he might be becoming one of the pillars of the company. Until April 9th of that year, when he challenged Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and used one of his super hard headbutts and gave himself a subdural hematoma, a brain bleed, was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and was never going to wrestle again. Since then, of course, he's been a fixture still in NJPW as the trainer and head coach and the man who runs the LA dojo for NJPW. We thought maybe 2 years ago when Kenta came in and Kenta turned on him, it looked like it was meant to be his return at Wrestle Kingdom 13. That didn't happen either. Fast forward to this past Wednesday morning. Intermission at the G1 Climax 31. They come back. Kevin Kelly and Chris Charlton are expecting a 8-man tag as the next match on the card. Out walks the guy that Shibata brought into the company, Zack Sabre Jr., wearing white shorts. They're like, Zack Sabre Jr. is a book for this. What's going on? Is he going to talk? He wasn't going to talk, because immediately after that, Katsuyori Shibata's music started playing. And for the first time in 4.5 years, Katsuyori Shibata had a professional wrestling match. It wasn't a real professional wrestling match. It was an exhibition match under FMW rules, where you couldn't win by pinfall or knockout or submission, only by points. It was a 5-minute exhibition, but still, for the first time in 4.5 years, Katsuyori Shibata had a match. And after the match, which ended in a 5-minute time draw, Shibata got on the mic and said, "The next time you guys see me in this ring will be a real match," and took a back bump. Guys, it's possible. We're actually going to get to see the wrestler wrestle again.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, look at how many people have been able to come back. Grant, it took Edge 7 years. It took
Bryan
Danielson. It took him 3, didn't it?
Maybe
Christian was about 6 years. So they've proven that people can come back from career-ending injuries as modern medicine continues to get better. So
right.
Hopefully, if Shibata does come back, I'm not cringing like I was every single time Bryan Danielson took a bump, or like I did for a while when Christian would be taking bumps, or even like Sting, when Sting took his first couple bumps. And there's another guy too. I mean, he's 63 years old. He was injured, 2016? It
Yep.
took him 5 years to come back from that, but he came back from it. And even at 63 years old, he was able to come back from a broken freaking neck. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that Shibata could make a return.
No, not at all. And even if he doesn't able to make a full return, at least he got to have one more match on his own terms and
Right.
and show up at one of their biggest shows of the year.
Right.
So,
And as far as ZSJ goes, there's got to be an asterisk next to this because he only lost by 2 points, 2 points that he gave them, 2 points that he gave all the other people in the field because they did not have to wrestle Naito. First of all. Secondly, how can Shingo be proud of his performance when he tied Takahashi? Seriously, how can he be proud of that performance to go to a draw with Takahashi? And then it blows my mind. I mean, Kento winning the block by 2 points when he was given. And I get it, had they tied, him and Kento would have had the tiebreaker. But winning by 2 points when you were given 2 points because you didn't have to wrestle Naito is just ridiculous. No, I'm going to be a little bitter about this one for a while.
Actually, Ibushi won the block back then.
Was it Coda?
Yeah. So Kota Ibushi has won the block 4 straight years, and who knows if he was? I highly doubt he was booked to beat Okada in the finals, but we'll never know because the other big thing that happened at G1 Climax Finals is that Kota went for a Phoenix Splash and dislocated his left shoulder, and they had to call the match. So.
And then
the guy who has become to me maybe the most boring professional wrestler in the world because all he does is clotheslines, drop kicks, DDTs, and the fucking money clip. Kazuchika Okada is your G1 Climax winner.
Not necessarily. He's tied with Jeff Cobb.
No, he won the G1 on Wednesday
morning. Okay, I hadn't gotten that far yet.
That's what I was saying. It was Okada versus Kota in the finals, and Kota dislocated his shoulder.
So how did he win how did he win his block when him and Cobb were tied and Cobb had a victory over him? I thought.
Nope. Coming into the last day of the A block of the B block, Cobb was undefeated. Okada was 7-1 because he had lost to.
And Okada beat Cobb.
He lost to What did he lose to? Tamatanga, I think. Yeah, and Okada beat Cobb.
Ugh. All right. No.
So I mean, and that is those are the only 2 times since they've been at 20 members in the G1 that anybody has gotten 16 points, and they both did it.
They got 18 points, didn't they?
No, 8 times 2 is 16. They were both 8-1. There's 10 people in the block, so you only have 9 matches.
Oh, all right. Well, regardless, G1 ended up not the way it should have been.
Well, I told you that. I told you my 2 favorites were Okada and Cobb, so I mean, it made perfect sense to me that Okada won. I just don't like it.
Well, I mean, I thought with the way they positioned Zach in the beginning that he was a shoo-in. I hate the fact that he lost because he gave wins to everybody else in the field. He gave 2 points to literally everybody else in the field by destroying Naito. It's got a bad taste in my mouth because I don't think anybody other than ZSJ deserved it. Especially after the performance he put in those first 3 matches.
We do have a big show coming up at Power Struggle though, where I think every title is on the line, other than I think never. I think Jay White is still in US, but the heavyweight championship is on the line against Zack Sabre Jr. because of course he beat Shingo.
Right.
And Tamatanga is the only guy that beat Kazuchika Okada in the G1, so he's challenging Okada for the G1 briefcase.
Oh, okay. All right, so we'll see how that goes. I can't imagine somebody losing the briefcase again like they did last year.
I
The
can't either.
storyline, that's just a
And I can't-
storyline I can't see happening.
And I especially can't imagine Tamatanga having that briefcase.
No, yeah, exactly.
Did you hear about the Impact results last week?
No, I did not. But I have a feeling that Christian lost.
He did, but remember when I said last week that they can't get out of their own way?
Mm.
So Christian did lose the world championship to Josh Alexander. Moose had won the call your shot battle royal earlier in the show. And for 2 years, you and I have been saying that Moose should be built up to the top and be the Impact World Heavyweight Champion.
Mhm.
He is now the Impact World Heavyweight Champion because he beat Josh Alexander right after Alexander beat Christian. But you can't. But I mean, really, you can't build up Moose over a long term to the championship and have him actually have a feud for it.
I don't.
I like the idea. I do like the idea of the call your shot guy coming out, beating Alexander, setting up a story. I just think Moose is the wrong guy to be in that position.
I think that he should have called his shot against Christian. I think putting the only misstep there, in my eyes, is putting the belt on Alexander for a half a second. That's the misstep because you just completely. What's the point of having the title change if you're just going to have the title change 30 seconds later? That's where I think the misstep is. I think Moose has been built up plenty. He's a viable champion. He's had his feuds for the title. He carried the TNT title, or not the TNT, the Impact title, or what the hell? TNA title.
The TNA title.
The TNA title for a while. He's been built up over the last few years. He's legitimate. Like, I don't have a problem with him winning the battle royal, then coming in and taking the belt. What I have a problem with is Josh Alexander pinning Christian only to lose 30 seconds later. It's a Bianca Belair move.
Well, no, I wouldn't go that far, but it's like Daniel Bryan losing the championship to Randy Orton at SummerSlam.
Oh yeah. Finally gets to the top, wins it, and then loses because. But I guess I didn't see it, so I don't know if there were any shenanigans or anything. But did you end up watching that last night since GCW wasn't?
I wasn't giving them $40 for the card that they
Fair enough.
Especially the biggest show of the year. They've got triple threat matches for the X Division title, and they've got triple threat matches for the tag title. They've got that battle royal. No, it wasn't something I was going to waste my money on.
Impact really loves their triple threat matches. They really, really like their triple threat matches. I saw something going on with Heath. I guess he's no longer Heath Slater. He's just Heath. And Rhino with Violent by Design. Rhino kind of leaving Violent by Design. Eric Young. I still can't picture Eric Young as a psychopath.
Yeah, the Violent by Design it was a mess from the start.
So. Yeah, but yeah, so
and obviously, we needed to have Heath and Rhino back together as a team.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But at least the belt's on somebody from the Impact, that an Impact wrestler again, and at least it's probably the best Impact wrestler they've got. So there's that.
There's that, and it should be a great feud between him and Josh Alexander over it too. But I just don't like the way, like you said, I just don't like the way they got them.
Yeah, I think, like I said, and I'm gonna stick to it. I think the biggest misstep was putting the belt on Alexander. Regardless, I mean, Christian should have won the belt, and then Moose should have attacked Christian and called a shot to win the belt. Then it would have given him a lot more heat. Moose, that is, would have given him a lot more heat. It would have protected Josh Alexander a little bit more.
They also You know, I talked about last week how that they had that triple threat for the X Division Championship, and it was, and I said I was like, I don't understand why you don't do Trey Miguel versus El Fantasma for the championship. You know,
Right.
why do you book it as a triple threat? Why do you include Black Taurus? Well, Taurus wasn't even on the show. Steve Macklin took his spot. So they, even though Taurus wasn't on the show, and maybe there's travel issues, who knows? They still couldn't just make it a one-on-one match for the X Division title.
Right.
Trey Miguel is your new X Division champion, so at least they did that right. The Iconics, now calling themselves the what do they call themselves now?
remember.
But they are the new Impact World Champion, Impact Women's Tag Team
18.
Champions. Inspiration, call themselves the Inspiration. Mickey James, you know, you got this long run with Deanna Purrazzo as the Women's World Champion. You know, where she could have lost it to, you know, an up and coming woman to make the title weight actually mean something. Nope, she loses it to the producer for NWA, Mickey James. So
Boy, am
They
I
just could
glad you didn't throw 40 on that.
they just could knock it out of their own. So I just wanted to
Wow.
bring that up too.
Well, speaking of throwing money on something, I did start watching GCW this morning. That opening match is fun. A little bit of a cluster, but still fun. I don't know if you've watched any of it yet.
No, I decided since we weren't going to be able to watch it last night at the same time I thought we were going to be able to, that I would just start watching Bloodsport first, and I'll probably watch that one tomorrow or something.
Okay. Well, yeah, Bloodsport's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's the only one available. The death match is tonight.
War Ready?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Tonight. Bloodsport was last night. War Ready's tonight.
I thought Bloodsport was a whole lot of fun. The part I saw so far, I've watched the first hour of it, and yeah, it's a nice little idea.
That I get frustrated with the scrambles, and that's the match I watched, was that opening scramble, because it seems like it was originally like the first time I saw it was a 4-person, then it was a 5-person, then it was a 6, now it's an 8-person, and every time it seems like there's a surprise entrant to make it bigger.
You did not watch Bloodsport then, because Bloodsport does not start with a scramble. Bloodsport is all Bloodsport matches.
Oh, what the hell am I watching?
You're probably watching War Ready.
No.
No, it's my tablet, Dad.
No, I know. The October LA combo.
Yeah, so you're watching. Yeah, so you're watching War Ready. Hang on a second.
No, War Ready's tonight.
It's not. It was last night.
Okay, so Bloodsport's tonight?
Bloodsport was Friday night.
I'm just confused.
Give me one moment, guys.
Then? Well, I'm definitely not watching War Ready.
Yeah, so Bloodsport was Friday night, so that's when I started watching, and there's no ropes, and it's all you can only win by pinfall, knockout, or submission. So it's kind of like set up like a worked MMA style.
Well, if I'd known that, I would have watched that. I thought when I logged on yesterday, it said 10 p.m. start, and I thought that was for Bloodsport because it said the 22nd. It said the 22nd, 23rd. This today's the 24th. Holy crap! Long weekend. Anyway, so I watched the opening scramble for War Ready. I guess not as impressed as I should have been.
Huck is, I'm getting.
All right, sorry about that.
Everything good?
Sure. Yeah. So, yeah. So I'll probably watch more already, like tomorrow night or something.
Oh, yeah, and
Uh.
I guess I didn't realize that my days are all confused. Fourth quarter,
Yeah. So
so I'm all just a mess.
yeah. I mean, let's see, like, so like Bloodsport kind of reminds me of the early days of UFC when I actually liked it, when it was actual, like, when not everybody knew all the styles, and it was actually like, fighter striker against wrestler, wrestler against jiu-jitsu fighter
Taekwondo
against,
guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, when MMA was actually interesting. So I mean, I enjoyed part of it, what I saw of it, and like Marina
Back
Shafir,
when
like Marina Shafir, we never really got to see what she could do in WWE, but she was a beast on that show.
the MMA back when Keith Shamrock or Ken Shamrock was the most dangerous man on the planet. That's the MMA that I remember.
Oh, and for me, like before that, was like Hoist Gracie. Hoist Gracie was
Oh, yeah, all right.
the interesting on the
Makes
planet,
sense.
So,
But yeah, as far as other wrestling goes, MLW had another strong show.
haven't watched
I
it yet.
like what they're doing. Richard Holiday made an appearance, and more than just shilling his coffee cup, he actually made an appearance. There's all kinds of shenanigans going on with Cesar Duran and all of that stuff. So it's got some bad acting. I'm looking right at Alicia Toot, but the matches were pretty quality. I enjoyed them.
You think Alicia Tuda's a bad actress? I never noticed that.
Oh my God, it's brutal. It's hard to watch. I just, anyway, but since you haven't watched it, I won't get too far into it, but I'm sure you did watch Rampage and Dynamite.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't planning on watching Dynamite until you told me, like, an hour before the show started that we're already wasn't
Right.
starting until 10 o'clock. So.
Yeah, and I ended up watching Many Saints in New York, which excellent movie. Makes me want to go watch The Sopranos now. Newark, yeah. Makes me want to go watch The Sopranos now again, just because I enjoyed it that much. And then I watched Dynamite last night, and my biggest takeaway from Dynamite is it wasn't that long ago when I thought Cody Rhodes had the best wrestling mind in the business, and now I think he just doesn't get it. He got booed out of the building again. After getting that hot response on Friday night when he got cheered, I was like, wow, maybe he is right. But then he got booed out of the building again last night, and on top of it all, he's just refusing to turn heel, and he had to get his win back. So would you say that he won this feud again now too? I mean, even though Malakai Black won 2 matches of it, Cody getting the final match.
No, I think that this match was booked so well that Malakai still looked really, really strong in it, and I feel like the fact that he hit Black Mass and the reason that Cody was able to win was because the momentum carried Cody to the ropes.
Right.
I would still say Malakai won this feud. And I agree with you. Cody. I don't think you've been watching Rose to the Top, but Rose to the Top aired after and the season finale aired after Dynamite, like last night. They were talking. It was actually the time of Cody's first match against Black, and they even knew back then the crowd was going to cheer Malakai and boo him. And he was talking about how he needs to find a way to tweak his character because he's not turning heel. So he needs to figure out what the character is causing the crowd to boo him.
The
And
fact that you win every time, the fact that you're Hulk Hogan, you cheat to win, but you're supposed to still be a babyface. The fact that you win every freaking feud you're in. These are why people boo you, Cody. It's not because of who you are. It's because of the way you act.
and the when on Rampage, I felt like he got it. Like, you know, he came down in jeans, like he was actually he was brawling. And then last night he came out again with the fucking spectacular entrance and
Mhm.
wearing the Homelander robe and or cape and all. It's like, dude, you just did exactly, you know, less than 24 hours ago. You just did what you should be doing. You know,
Yeah, he came out.
coming down like, maybe he should be wearing, not, if you're not gonna wear jeans, don't wear ostentatious tights, don't wear the cape, don't have the big entrance, and
Right.
come down like you actually. No, I do like that he took the cape off right away and ran down to the ring to attack rather than doing his big long grand entrance all the way through. But it was not enough. I mean, it should have been back to basics for him last week.
What should have happened, the way that he could have kept that momentum from Friday night would have been, his music starts to play and he runs in from the crowd like he did on Friday night.
Exactly. I love you too.
That's the way he could have kept the momentum. So it frustrated me. But that's just what Cody's been ever since he's been with AEW, and I don't understand his refusal to turn heel.
He is. I guess he said in the past he's never turning heel, and so he's basically sticking by that. I don't know.
I mean, Cody and his stash is still one of my favorite heel characters of all time.
I think he's great as a heel, so I don't know why he's not.
Unless he thinks because he's the public face of the company. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Right. I was thinking last night, like, would we really care if Cody didn't wrestle? Like, if Cody had actually retired at, that Dynamite where he started to get on his boots, if that actually had been his last match, how much would that really affect you? And I don't think that it would.
The only thing that has come out of him being not retired was the greatest wrestling memes I've ever seen in my life after the Glock promo by Arn Anderson. That's it. That's truly it. These backstage skits just really didn't go anywhere when he completely went back to old Cody last night. All these little skits and everything he did with Arn quitting on him. After the attack last night, it seemed like he had gotten it. If he'd been that cool guy that attacked last night, he would have gotten cheered. Or on Friday night, he would have gotten cheered last night.
Yeah,
but he wasn't. He was right back to Cody Rhodes. And it just took everything that has happened since he took his boots off and just blew it out of the water. Like, what was the point? What was the point of the Glock promo? What was the point of Arn showing up at his house and threatening him and all this stuff? What was the point of him running in on Friday night being a badass if this was, what, you bled? That's your big character turn?
Yeah, there was no difference between Cody last night and with the last time he faced Malakai at all.
Right.
I should say that the only difference was he ran down to the ring rather than doing the long grand entrance. That was it.
Yeah, after his grand entrance.
And yeah, after starting off with the grand entrance, and you asked about, like, does Malakai look, does you feel like Malakai lost his feud? I don't feel like this loss took anything away from Malakai at all.
No, I don't think it. I
because
don't think.
because I think he dominated Cody twice. He only lost last night because there was a distractions going on, with other things. B, he hit the black mass and whatever they're going to call it. And I don't think they've made it yet. Have they?
It's just a heel hook. They're just calling it a heel kick right now.
Okay. So he hit that, and Cody wanted to carry Cody to the ropes, and Cody couldn't get the pin on Cody. And then also Cody had to pull up a move he has never used before to get the victory.
Tiger driver. Yeah, the Tiger driver.
Yeah, the Tiger Driver 98 or the J Drill or whatever you want to call it. He had to pull that out in order to get the victory. So so I didn't feel like, so I felt like Cody, that was the only other thing Cody did differently was, didn't use the crossroads to win the match. He tried to, but he didn't get the victory.
And Malakai bleeding after that table shot when you could clearly tell that he did not hit the table was a little rough of a spot too.
Yeah, you got to tell the story.
Yeah, I get it. But and the other thing about last night that really kind of made no sense to me was just Arn Anderson standing in the middle of the ring. What he didn't do anything. He just got into the ring and stood there. That was a little confusing.
Yeah, it was like he was getting out of the way of the brawl on the outside, where he could have just gone to the other side of the ring. He didn't have to get in the ring to do that.
Right.
It was,
and even if he did get into the ring, roll through the ring out to the other side. Don't
Right.
just stand in the middle of the ring doing nothing. That confused me. But other than that, I mean, I thought the rest of the show was brilliant. I thought Friday night show was brilliant. It was that was my only downfall, was that match. Was from that. And then I did get a chance to go back and watch Hangman's promo too, from last Wednesday or Saturday.
Yeah.
And I hadn't watched that by the time we did our show last week, but it's just if he doesn't win the title in 2 weeks, I just don't know what to say. 3 weeks, I guess now, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 weeks from today, or 3 weeks from yesterday is the title match. Yeah.
Thank
And
God
we'll be there in the building soon.
Thank God we're doing a Saturday, not a Sunday, because
Yeah,
I don't
that'd be
know
rough.
PTO. But yeah, I enjoyed everything about it. I enjoyed the whole. I can't remember which show it was on. I watched so many shows this last week. But when Silver and I can never remember his partner's name, Alex Reynolds.
Yeah.
Did the kiss on Cody Rhodes? Did you get a chance to watch the BTE after that?
He did the kiss on Adam Cole.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. They did the kiss on Adam Cole.
I have not watched BTE for a few weeks now.
The beginning of the BTE episode was them sneaking up to kiss Adam Cole again, and then talking about the electricity that they felt and the connection they now have, and they should all be friends. It's just some funny shit.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, with Cody, like, he wasn't at All Out, right?
Right.
He still did the biggest buy rate ever. He's not going to be at he's getting set up to be at Full Gear, So I mean, I don't think he's necessary for them long term. I don't know where.
I don't either.
And go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't either. I don't think since he lost the TNT title to Brody Lee that he could have left after that and not come back and done the dog collar match, not done the stuff afterwards, only to lose to Darby Allin a few weeks later. I think at that point when he lost his match to Brody Lee and lost the title would have been a good exit point for him to move to the front office, maybe be more backstage, do a one-off wrestling thing. He doesn't need to be on the show for it to succeed.
I think Darby beating him was important because he had already had that, because Darby had all those matches against him and never been able to actually beat him. So I do think
Yeah, I
I do think
guess.
Darby beating him was important. But I do agree with you pretty much ever since then. Like the stuff with QT Marshall was, even though I liked his match against Anthony Ogogo at Double or Nothing. I think the other stuff with QT Marshall has just been a waste of time. It's just been
Yeah, I mean,
it's been a placeholder for a guy that really doesn't need his place anymore. And I hate that I'm saying that now in 2021 because in 2009 I was like so happy with that match at SummerSlam where we're able to keep becoming a star, and I was so down on WWE for not building him up to be a star the way they
well,
should
hell,
have.
I mean, let's go back to 2018, his feud against Kenny Omega. It was just great. And at that time, I mean, his run on the independents and then in Ring of Honor with New Japan and Bullet Club and all that stuff, I thought was fantastic. Even the beginning of his run in AEW, I felt like he really had it. My turning point on him, where I started to feel differently about Cody, was when he challenged Jericho and said, "If I lose, I'll never wrestle for this title again."
Yeah.
It's like, okay, then what's the point of you being in the company?
Yeah.
That was my
It does make it feel irrelevant because
right.
because that's really what you should aspire to be as a wrestler, is the best wrestler in the world, which means you're making the most money as the world champion. And if you can't do that, then what's the point of your existence as a pro wrestler?
I mean, that was the turning point for me, because at that point when he lost that match, and yeah, I get it, it was to set up the MJF feud and everything, but they could have done it a different way. He didn't have to put his future on the line, basically, because now he's like, we have no reason to get behind him to aspire to be the champion. He's never going to be in a tag team again. You can just tell he just is the one-off feud guy. They're going different directions with the TNT title. So what does he have? There's no reason for Cody. There really is no reason for him to be on the show.
Yeah, and Malakai Black. I don't know. I really enjoyed his Malakai Black, but at the same time, Malakai did not become heel by facing Cody Rhodes, and they want him to be a heel.
No, he like I said before, he's that NWO cool. He's a good wrestler who got treated poorly in his former company. People want to cheer for him like they did back in the NXT days. So yeah, he was never going to be a heel. I'm sorry. The only way at this point he could be a heel is if I don't know. I mean, this feud has seemed more like a feud between Malakai and Arn Anderson than Malakai and Cody.
I think the start of this alliance with him and Andrade is very. I mean, you can kind of see like the through path to there, right? Because two guys that were treated, pretty, were great in NXT, and they got treated pretty badly when they made the main roster. And one guy married to Zelina Vega, the other guy used to be managed by Zelina Vega. So you can kind of see that through line between the two of them. At the same time, like those two characters, aligning is very, very odd.
Yeah, I agree. It was nice seeing Arn Anderson do a spine buster again. I can't tell you how much I've missed that. What was with Will Hobbs losing his shit too? Just snapping and beating up the referee and all that didn't make any sense either. That was a story that just didn't seem like it has a place.
Well, Taz was trying to make it sound like the referee laid his hands on him and like being touched, but that was kind of bizarre.
When you're in you're going for a chance at a title, keep your cool a little bit, and even Hook being up there trying to calm him down. We've never seen that out of Hobbs before. We've never seen him snap like that before. So there was really no rhyme or reason unless it's moving to a bigger storyline. I
Hopefully,
don't see
right?
a reason
Hopefully,
for that.
it's not like a one-off attitude change.
Kind of like the Gun Club.
Well, the Gun Club's been around on Dark Innovation.
Have they?
Yeah.
Have they? Because I haven't seen any explanation yet for them turning heel.
Oh, the explanation is that despite the fact that every combination of them is undefeated, they've never gotten elevated, gotten a chance to shine on the main show.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah,
So
they've never lost. They've never lost as a trio. Austin and Colton have never lost as a team. Colton and Billy have never lost as a team. Austin and Billy have never lost as a team. So combined, their combined record as a team is like 22-0 or something. So
Oh, yeah, and everybody else gets tag team title shots when
Right.
they go 3-0
right, so that's
Okay,
their
so-
motivation.
for turning on Paul White, who was just basically given TV time
Exactly.
when they're winning, and okay, that makes sense. I get it now.
Yeah.
Let me see what else. What else was
It
there?
was. I did like how like everything on Dynamite. Even the matches like you looked at Dynamite, you're like, wait, they're doing that match? Why? They're doing that match? Why? And
Right.
and it all led to something bigger, right? I mean, like Jungle Boy versus Brandon Cutler, like obviously made sense that would happen based on all Cutler's actions, but at the same time, it felt like really you're going to give that time on Dynamite, and then it led to that huge spot at the end where the Young Bucks and Adam Cole are destroying Jungle Boy.
Right.
And then you had the Bobby Fish versus Anthony Green, where I was like, okay, so that's nice. You're giving Anthony Green a little bit of a chance on Dynamite. At the same time, this feels like a match you would have had when there was no crowd. And then it led to CM Punk versus Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a match that should have been on Dark.
Right.
I mean, I'm okay seeing CM Punk versus Bobby Fish, but I like seeing CM Punk against the young guys instead. I'd much rather see him against the young guys than against Bobby Fish. I'm still confused at the amount of TV time Bobby Fish is getting.
It is weird, isn't it? And I agree with you. At the same time, this also came across as CM Punk defending the young guys because
Yeah,
he was defending AG.
which I'm fine with. I'd like to see him develop a stable of young guys to kind of coach them and train them and all that. I love the fact that he. I know people are complaining about him talking too much and being on commentary and all, but I love him on commentary. I really do.
Who's complaining about that?
It's all over the internet. And I remember I mentioned last Monday how people were all pissy and cancel culture about how disrespectful FTR was for doing their Super Piranhas gimmick. You know where that started was CM Punk talking about how disrespectful it is to the Latin culture.
Oh, did he? Okay.
I went back and watched the match yesterday, and he was legitimately those were his exact words. Was CM Punk was talking about how disrespectful it is, which I think is ridiculous. Come on, I mean, remember the Conquistadors? Jesus.
Yeah, I think Punk. I don't think Punk was trying to start a movement. I think he was more like trying to get them over more as heels for doing it. So it's too bad. It's too bad that
The cancel culture.
the snowflakes have decided that they had to turn it into a movement against FTR.
It's just I'm over it. But yeah, and people have been talking about. I love him on commentary though. I think he's great. Just some of the stuff he says, some of the stuff he comes up with. What were they? Tony Schiavone called him the Tony Romo of wrestling because he calls the plays before they happen. I really enjoy him on commentary. I think he's a guy that once he's finally done in the ring, he's going to be a good color commentator going forward. Not like a Jericho who's yelling all the time and makes me laugh, but actually a good color commentator. Kind of like a Taz.
I saw yesterday on Twitter that JR tweeted out that he has he's going to be undergoing treatment for skin cancer, and I'm like, dude, as much as you annoyed me at times, if something happens and you have to step away for a while to of this treatment, I'm not sure I can handle the commentary.
You know, I actually have thought that too. He's gotten so much better over the last year. Him and Shivani and Excalibur have gelled so much that I look forward to watching the three of them on Dynamite.
Yeah,
And then when you throw in Taz occasionally, and Ricky Starks adds a little bit when he's there, and CM Punk and Jericho, I've been amazed at how well they can pull off a 4-man booth.
see, I still can't stand Starks on commentary. I mean, I know you liked him on
I like him better on Dark or Elevation, whichever one it was, than I do on when he's on Rampage or Dynamite. But at the same time, I see where you're coming from because he doesn't really add much. You're muted, dude.
my dog. He's muted me. Yeah, he doesn't add anything, and he's too soft spoken. Really, yeah, Jericho yells too much, but you can barely hear what Ricky's saying. He is too soft spoken.
I just think it's funny when he'll say something and Taz will jump down his throat like, I hate cliches. I hate cliches. Okay, that was a good cliche. That kind of stuff kind of makes me chuckle a little bit.
That doesn't make him good on color.
No, it doesn't. It just makes me laugh. That's all I care about. Jericho, I think, is great, but Jericho needs to calm it down a bit. He doesn't need to yell constantly. But I do think CM Punk is great on commentary. I enjoy listening to him.
I think so too. I kind of wish they would just kind of like do a rotating. I think Punk may be in there for the whole time. It's great, but other guys, I just kind of wish they would they could rotate into coming on a certain match. That would work. But I don't think like Ricky sitting there for a full 1 hour show is beneficial.
No, it's just keeping Ricky in front of the camera because when was the last time he actually had a match?
2 weeks ago against Brian Cage.
Oh yeah, that's right, he did. I am kind of liking this American Top Team too. I like that Jericho opened up on the Van Zants this week.
Did he?
Yeah, didn't you? Was it this week? Yeah, it was this week.
No, it was no, he did. He wasn't. Jericho was not on TV at all.
Okay, was it this week that Sammy accepted the challenge then?
Yeah.
Wow, I watched too much wrestling in too short of time.
And you said the Van Zants, was confused me because there are no Van Zants. Like she picked that name. Her parents are not named.
Right, but her husband.
That's why that's confused me. I thought maybe you're talking about like on Twitter or something. So.
No. But her husband's right there with her. Her and her husband are both part of American Top Team. I can't remember what her husband's name is. That's why I went with Van Zants.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I don't know. I think I might have watched too much AEW in the last 24 hours. They're starting to run a little bit together here.
Yeah, I think you watched too much of it. Austin Vanderford is her.
Okay.
So I guess with the bands, Vanderford,
right.
Van Zant.
The Vans. Okay, that's what we'll call
them. That was interesting, and I kind of like the idea that Sammy's going to pick the 3 members of the American Top Team, assuming that he wins against Ethan Page next week. Because is he going to make sure that Lambert is one of them in the ring? Is he make sure that Van Zant's one of them in the ring? It's just very interesting. He's one that gets 3 members.
I really want them to as much as I don't want to see Inner Circle get bigger, but bring in a female wrestler to help them with Paige Van Zandt. We were thinking about it and we were like, well, Thunder Rosa would be a good fit. And I was actually thinking about it. You know who's not doing anything, who's signed with the company and would actually fit really well with them? Santana Garrett. I think she would be a very good female addition to the Inner Circle.
Yeah, and it really doesn't matter if they get bigger or not if they're really going to be doing this every so often, right? Because you had talked about how they're mostly going to be kind of away from each other, or except for like big things like this, right?
Yeah,
So
and this worked out perfectly where they they took some time away, then they all came together to fight a common enemy, and then after this is done, they're going to take some time away doing other things again.
right,
So
I think
I
it works
like
really well.
this, yeah, instead
I
of
do like
always constantly being together.
I do like the combo though of Jericho and Jake Hager together. So I mean,
Yep,
those two guys staying together for me works really well. But the other
right.
guys like being separate, I think works really well too. You know.
And it's much better because I know Jericho wanted to end the inner circle, and Tony Khan talked him out of it. Like, why do that? Why can't you guys just go do your own things and then get together when you need to? And it's working out very well. Ever since the ending of the feud with the Pinnacle, they've done very well by being separate and then coming together. And I like the way they explained it last week too, where Santana and Ortiz were literally like, we saw our boys getting picked on, so we came to help out. We handled our business, then we came to help them out with their problem.
Yeah, it's very NJPW in that sense. A lot of one of these stables in AEW where, yeah, they're technically part of a stable, but they're more loosely affiliated than they are a real team. You know.
Well, they're a team, they're just doing their own thing. They remind me a lot of LIJ, where LIJ is, they're all off doing their own thing, and then they get together for their big feuds or their 8-man tags or whatever. That they remind me a lot of LIJ in that respect.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is they're not like an American stable where they've always got to be together. Like
Right.
the Four Horsemen were always had to be together. The Shield always had to be together. Undisputed Era always had to be together.
Yeah.
Evolution always had to be together. NWO always had to be at least several of their members together at one time, right? Whereas in NJPW, like you don't see TF together all the time. You don't see Suzuki Gun together all the time. You don't see LAJ together all the time. So it's a lot like that with a lot of their stables there. Yeah, Dark Order's together often, Elite's together all the time. But other than those two, like really Death Triangle's kind of loosely affiliated, and so on and so forth, right? So
Yeah,
um,
they get together when they need to. Otherwise, they go do their own thing, which is the way it should
speak,
be.
yeah, it is. They're more like an alliance than a I guess than a stable in that sense. I speaking of loose alliance, I thought it was kind of funny the way that MJF like assigned um, Sean Spears to be Wardlow's
Tag
whatever
team part,
whatever
or
whatever it was
yeah,
something
that was
something
pretty
something
humorous.
something buddy like I didn't like consult Spears at all. It was just like out of the blue.
I'm really waiting for Wardlow to just unload on MJF. This has been a face turn that they're doing brilliantly, where it's like he's still that heel buddy of MJF, but MJF keeps giving him those little barbs.
Yep.
That's just eventually you're going to see it explode, but it's not like rushing anything. It's just like he just like I can't remember. Well, like you said, he's assigned Sean Spears to be his lookout, basically. Um, that kind of stuff is just eventually Wardlow is going to lose it and turn on MJF, and that's a feud I can't wait to see.
Wardlow is very interesting to me because, like, when he was first announced, they made it sound like a big deal was being announced, and
Right.
then he comes in and he's nothing but MJF's bodyguard for months and months and months, and then he's barely had any matches on Dynamite. He's been like mostly squashes on like Elevation or Dark, so it's hard to really know exactly what Wardlow can really do in there by himself because we have never seen it, you know. So. So
Yeah, that is true. We really haven't. There's really never been any. I mean, he had that match against Cody, which of course Cody won. And then he's been in the tag matches, but he's never really been. I mean, the stuff I've seen him in, he's been whatever that kick in the corner he does is. That's just flat out amazing.
Yeah, he had the singles match against Jericho too as part of the five
yep,
labors
you're
of
right.
Jericho.
Yeah.
But and he was pretty good in that one. But all I'm saying is like if you think of the crowd, I think him turning face, like I think the crowd would cheer because he'd be against MJF and everybody's gonna boo MJF, of course. But I don't know
Right.
where he goes from there as a character by himself. You know.
Well, we didn't know where Bobby Fish would go, and he's got a prime spot on TV every episode. So
Yeah, that's still very odd.
yeah. The other thing that I'm wanted to bring up is this whole Miro thing. Did Miro declare war on God? Is that pretty much what he did in that promo?
It seemed like it, didn't it? Because he was like,
Yeah,
because like last week he was like, my God, God, why have you forsaken me? And talked about how he was not going to be able to get back to his wife until he gets his championship back.
right.
And now and now it seemed like he was declaring war on God, which is very, very odd.
Until
I
you
mean,
talk to me, I'm just gonna break necks.
I mean, is Vince McMahon coming into the company to feud against him? Is that what's happening?
I don't know, but it was such a weird turn from what he's been. To that it was a weird segment, and I was like, this is interesting. Kind of want to see where this goes now. But it wasn't what I've expected out of him. I obviously he was upset he lost his title last week. Okay, great, got it. But
Right.
this week's promo was like, oh well, that's an interesting turn.
Yeah, it really was. So we'll see where it goes with him. But at least he has interesting stuff to do.
Yeah. Yeah, at least he's believable, and at least we know that he's still got the title on his mind. So it's not like Cody, where he's just gonna kind of do dumb feuds for the rest of his wrestling life.
It's very. I was very happy this week to see that not only AEW telling great stories still, but also which they've done for months, but also just having the great match to end in Rampage, and then the great match to start Dynamite, and the great match to end Dynamite. So it was just great that they had all that stuff going on in those 2 days.
Right. Yeah, I agree, and it'll be nice to have them back on Wednesdays. But I don't mind these back-to-back shows like this, especially when they do them live.
Right, the live is the key, I think. I mean, having a tape Rampage that you need to live Dynamite or vice versa would be really odd, I think.
Right.
If they were back to back.
Yeah, I mean I like back-to-back nights, but I'm glad they're going back to Wednesday because I need something to do on Wednesday nights now.
But I don't think that's going to be, happening when they move to TBS. I think when they move to TBS, this will be, few and far between stuff like this will happen.
Well, yeah, because they won't have playoff games and regular season games. Like this last 2 weeks was the kickoff of the NHL, and then now next week they're doing the NBA games on Tuesday nights instead of Wednesdays. So
Good. Yeah, they're still part of the. I think they're still part of that package for like March Madness too. But I think the TBS and TNT games are always on like Friday and Saturday for those, right? So Rampage might get
usually,
preempted some. So Rampage might be preempted a little bit, but I don't think that Dynamite.
yeah, it shouldn't affect Dynamite.
Yeah. So
That's also 6 months away, so we'll have time to worry about that.
indeed.
But I don't know, anything else? Anything else you?
I don't think so. We talked about G1. We talked about Rampage. Talked about Dynamite. So I didn't see any
Unfortunately, we talked about Impact.
We did talk about Impact, yeah, but mostly just because I thought it was weird that they made those choices that they made, but also, the two big rumors that they were debuting did not happen. So maybe that's happening during the tapings or something. Who knows?
Who's debuting?
Well, the rumors were like Bray Wyatt coming in and
Braun Strowman. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I did see that. Yeah, and I mean, that would have been a good night to debut either one of them in that Call Your Shot Battle Royal.
That's what I was thinking too. That's right. That's what I kind of expected.
But you can't have Braun come in and lose the Battle Royal, so I can see why they didn't do it. But I don't know. At this point, their booking is so horrendous. I don't know
I don't know. You could have Brock come in at the Battle Royal and not win it by like Morrissey eliminating him, or they eliminate each other, and you have to sort of big people post.
yeah, but I can't remember the guy's name. Don Callis. Is he even still part of the booking team there?
I have no idea.
It seems like he's just an AEW guy now.
I think he is because he wasn't on Dynamite last night, right? So because if you think
Yeah,
about
you're
it,
right, he wasn't.
like big guy, and that's like a part of this cross promotion stuff is like the Elite was there, but the Good Brothers couldn't be there because they had to defend their tag titles.
Yeah,
And
I guess, yeah, that does make sense.
Christian couldn't be there because he had to defend his championship.
And I like the way that they sold that too, with Jungle Boy saying that Christian was at home, or was that last week? I was that Friday night?
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but they sold him not being there for a while because he had to be at Impact, where he'd gotten injured on the beatdown, so he was at home healing.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I will do one more thing I want to talk to you about. So, did you get your Pro Wrestling created?
Yeah, I did. It was weird too because I wasn't expecting it.
I think it's very interesting that we got a 3D T-shirt with 3D glasses. So, are you supposed to wear the 3D? Are you supposed to wear the T-shirt and then, like, you walk around having 3D glasses? They can see how cool your T-shirt is.
Is that the was that the Evil Uno one? Because the Evil Uno one was sick. I loved that shirt.
No, it's the
Danhausen
Creep
one?
House, the Creephausen shirt is what they're calling it. Yeah,
that's what the 3D glasses are for.
the one I'm wearing now is the 3D glasses.
Well, I wish I had my 3D glasses so I could see what it actually does, because I can't see it when it's on me.
Well, I don't know if you be able to see it on the monitor either.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, it was an interesting crate this month, and I didn't know it was coming. It just kind of showed up. I didn't realize it was. I guess I didn't realize it's been a month since my last one.
It does go very quickly, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah. There was some cool stuff in there. They're like, and I think the autograph picture this month is really badass.
Darby Allin, hell yeah.
Yeah, but Darby Allin, not only Darby Allin, but the skateboard with Brian Cage's face on it.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's probably the best autograph I've gotten out of those boxes, and I've gotten almost 2 years worth of them. So, and I think that Darby Allin was probably the best autograph. Although I did like the Ricky Morton one I got too.
That's a good one.
I think I might have had a Kevin Steen one at one point too.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool. I thought the picture was cool, and it was cool to get the autograph. Obviously, his autograph on there too. But I thought,
who's the buddy that we got?
Oh, Hurricane.
That's who it was. Yeah, okay. The micro brawler was Hurricane.
Yeah. Melissa claimed that one.
Oh, did she?
She's like mine. Like I was like, that's fine.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice brawler too. I think those are two of the things that we've gotten for biker brawlers. I think I've only gotten one that I was a little bit like, really? The Atom Bomb one from a couple of weeks ago or months ago.
Oh, I didn't have a problem with that one at all. It's kind of brings me back to my childhood a little bit.
Yeah, but it just wasn't one with all the other really cool ones I've gotten, like the Raven and the Road Warriors, and even the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich. I just felt like that one was a little bit out of place because they could have gone.
I don't see how.
They could have gone with so many other variations of him, though, of Bryan Adams' character.
Yeah, but I think Atom Bomb is the most iconic of his characters.
You think so? He was only really around for like a year as Atom Bomb.
Yeah. What else did he ever do?
I suppose when he was himself in WCW, people didn't really give a shit about WCW at that point.
No, and he was part of that team with Brian Clark too, right? But what I
Right.
can't remember what they were. I can't remember what they were called even. And they were they
They
were
were
kind of
just
dominant, and they were dominant there, but again, not really, a spot where I would have said he was, that over. I think wasn't he also Wrath as part of like wasn't it like him and Mort? It was like Mortis and Wrath, right? Wasn't his
yeah,
name in
and he was
WCW?
Wrath.
Yeah. So
Then because that was after his run as Adam Bomb, he became Wrath,
right.
and then he came back to the WWE for like a cup of coffee, and then went back with Brian Clark to WCW. So yeah, I suppose Adam Bomb probably was his best run.
Yeah, I think so too. So I did not, did not find like that to be weird at all. I thought it was actually really cool to get the figure. So
I
that's
guess
just me though.
it brings us back to our college years, not even our
I
childhood.
I am a little bit disappointed though looking at the card for next week that we're getting something else from Swaggle, because like I hate Swaggle, and now he will be in 2 of my 4 boxes.
Yeah, but last time wasn't offensive what we got. Let's just hope it's not a t-shirt. Although he is on the t-shirt I'm wearing right now.
Yeah, that was him in that box was in there. So. All right, that was all. I thought it was funny that we got like 3D glasses, like to wear to what
To look at.
at our 3D T-shirt.
That is kind of funny. I guess I didn't even put that together, but all right. So I got nothing else.
All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, this is Shane saying long days.